second now, I think we may be live. And just to confirm it, we are now live. So hello everyone out there in internet land. Welcome to the Slam Jam Wrestling Show here on the Extreme Improv Xstreamed YouTube channel, as well as the Slam Jam YouTube channel. So make sure you smash that subscribe button to all of the Slam Jam bronies out there. Make sure you get that done. Now, today, Slam Jam is back. It's been a while. But it is indeed back, and it's going to be back because I am feeling all in today. Now, we have a spectacular panel here today, and we're going to be joined by at least one more, if not several, well, two more. Right, but my name is David, and on the show today to discuss All In, plus so much more, we have Corey, the Canadian Dragon Birch. Say hello to the people.
Hey, folks, how you doing here up in Canada? You know, just... fed my polar bear. It's pretty great here, man. The home of Edge. Probably rude.
Hello.
And also my baby, yeah.
And your baby. Okay, good. We are live. So, Tony Khan has an important announcement to make, so that can only be TJ. Say hello to the people.
Hey, people. Long time. Yeah, here in Germany. And yeah, looking forward to talking about All In and wrestling in general and just doing some silly stuff with my mates, because that's what we are here for.
Awesome. Scissor me, daddy ass. There we go. Right. Oh, Dave didn't quite get in there in time. Right, Dave, say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm a bit perplexed. I just literally joined the chat. I thought we were going to have a chat and then go online, and I realised we're online right away.
No, I was running late, and so, you know, I was just like, let's do this. Let's absorb the magic, and there's so much time to chat. But... I know at least two of us were all in yesterday, and I just want to know why, guys. Why did you not make the trip? Like, the arena needed, the stadium, it needed filling, and we could have done with our friends from Canada and Germany there.
Visa issues for me. I really wanted to go, but the visa was just too expensive.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brexit.
For me, you can maybe hear the reason. My 2-month-old.
Perfect timing. Absolutely. Yeah, but Dave...
I thought I was in a monologue, Corey. I thought it was just a general...
Yeah, Dave, you were all in yesterday, were you not? Don't make it, like, dirty. I just asked if you were all in, not anything specific.
I didn't know you went... Sorry, you went... You're making
okay, so it sounded dirty. I was like, you were all in yesterday, and you were like, oh... And it just seemed like I was asking you an inappropriate question. But hopefully connection issues are all okay. Now, I was all in. I was... Now, Dave, you and I were coincidentally sat on almost the same row, but just a little way away. Like the penultimate row at the back of the stadium. We were basically in Essex. We were so far out.
It wouldn't have been such a long trip for me if we were. That would have been fine. No, we're at the Gods again. I got surprised with a ticket for my friend Neil, who's my best man for my wedding, and surprised me with a ticket, so which was a good surprise. And yeah, right up in the Gods, a lot of people around. There was a lot of I think a lot of the AEW haters are going to be going, oh, I can see some red seats. It wasn't sold out. No, it wasn't sold out. But there's still around about 50,000 people there. So I think they did a good number pretty much.
And I was one of those haters. No, I wasn't. Right, but the great thing was, because there were lots of empty seats, and because AEW had a technical issue and didn't get one of their screens on above the entrance aisle until literally the start of the show, I moved and I probably got a £300 or £400 seat for like 27 quid. So, not bad.
Nice.
Not bad. Right. Okay, so guys, Corey, TJ, did you see the show live on pay-per-view?
Yeah.
I will admit I skipped the pre-show, but I know what happened.
Do you know what? Like, I'll be honest, with the pre-show, Dave, you can give some thoughts on this. With the pre-show, sat like at the level we were at, I've only been wearing glasses a year. I couldn't see jack, and because the screen wasn't on, I knew Dustin Rhodes was in the ring because he'd got his like red costume. Yeah. I made sure I had to use. I sat there in the arena and I had to zoom in on my phone just to be able to see that the Von Erichs were doing the Iron Claw because I was that far away. But other than that, the pre-show I basically missed.
So I got a pretty wrestling reception, eh? Is that right? Like, she didn't get a big pop like she did last year.
Who? Oh, what Paige?
Saraya?
Saraya.
Yeah, Paige, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she wasn't on the main card. Like, this is
Yeah.
some of the things we can get into. Like, I really enjoyed the show. But I feel like it was a bit of a strange booked show. For, like, who was on it, who wasn't on it, where people's position on the card. AEW are always going to deliver, like, stellar wrestling matches. But it's like, last year it was so much about Saraya. And I think over the last year, they're like, well, she hasn't really got it anymore. So they didn't even put her on the actual card. You know, bless her. But yeah, anyone else hit me with some thoughts? Let's discuss.
I mean, I think, like, so Saraya, I think people are not as into her as they were when she was Paige, but I think they really could have done Saraya versus Monet. I am very happy with the program that they did with Monet, but the fact that Monet was the one who originally injured her, the fact that they did absolutely nothing, like no storyline, especially the UK might be the one place where Saraya can be a babyface, and you don't do that. I just don't understand that. Like, it doesn't have to be for the title, for a big title. It can just be a very one-off match. But yeah, them not doing that, and I know they're going back to the UK next year, but it's like, do we wait that long? It'll probably have even lesser heat than it has right now. So
yeah, they haven't done it yet. They don't need to like do it like immediately. They're both bad guys and all that sort of stuff. So it's something that can be looked at further down the line if it needs to be. But yeah, as far as the pre-show stuff went, it was just quite funny seeing them coming out with the Knights and their extended family, aka the extras, who let take bumps, and for Jamie Hayter's return, which I think was it was rumored.
That's the main point.
Yeah, the main point. But Jamie, it was a good return for her. It was a nice little ovation she got there in the building, and it looks pretty dominant, and it looks like there's going to be some sort of. They said I've seen the commentary back a little bit on that, and they're saying, "Oh, she's back for the people who put her out of action, all that sort of stuff." And it's like, well, hang on, there's only one of them in the group now. There's only Saraya there, and I'm pretty sure they didn't actually ever have a match with each other. So, so I don't know if they're going to extend that to the Toni Storm thing, because she's obviously a completely different character now, and that sort of thing. But yeah, it was a good vehicle to bring her back. I was just surprised she wasn't brought back on the main show in speaking of Mercedes, in the Mercedes Britt Baker match.
Yeah, I completely agree. That would have well, because how many people actually watched 0 Hour, which was like an hour and a half or 2 hours? You know.
Yeah, and, like, how many people were live in the arena at that point?
Not a lot. I was, but not a lot.
Truthfully, not tons. And also, just I've brought up it here because you know it happened live, and I couldn't see Jack from where I was. But the opening match was a 16-man tag team match. So I don't know about you, Dave. I was just seeing little things. I was like, I could pick out Goldust and Sammy Guevara, and that was it.
Well, even in that one, they weren't even in that
one. Oh, were they not in the first one?
Yeah, the 16-man. I couldn't believe it.
That was a 10-man. Sorry, there was a 16-man, and then did I miss the 16-man? Oh no, Kip Sabian. I did see it. Match. So we had Tommy Billington. Good for him. I was pleased for him to look at that, walking out basically, and he started the match as well. That much I was aware of at Wembley Stadium. What a moment for him. Tommy Billington, Kip Sabian, Rocky Romero, Kyle Fletcher, Leo Rush, Action Andretti, and Top Flight Darius and Dante Martin with Don Callis defeated Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, Anthony Ogogo, Araya Divari, Private Party, and the Dark Order with Evil Uno. Oh my god, and Sonjay Dutt.
Poor Evil Uno. What a terrible week he's had. He excitedly said he's in the Gauntlet, Casino Gauntlet on Dynamite. Then Hangman Page whacks him in the back with a chair. Then he comes out to be in the corner for this random match at the start of the show. Then he didn't even make it into the Gauntlet match before his number got called. What a bad week.
Okay, and then we had Stokely Hathaway and Chris Statlander against Tomohiro Ishii and Willow Nightingale. Again, I didn't see jack of this at all. I liked that Stokely had a cool gold costume or whatever, but that was it.
Mm-hmm. It's like a little Oscar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought it was exactly what I expected. It was going to be like Chris and Willow were going to do the most of the work, the actual good hard-hitting wrestling they do, and then you get Stokely having to tag in against Ishii and having no choice but to get absolutely destroyed, which was great. But tell you what, I was not expecting to enjoy and want to see Statlander versus Ishii. The exchanges were great. I was like, okay, I, as far as an intergender match goes, that would be quite a good one to see.
I tell you what, though, Willow got a huge pop when she came out, considering how empty the arena was. You know, as we'll get onto later. Not that people didn't get pops, but the women, well, the TBS championship match.
There's still tens of thousands that are in there.
No, but like it was a long way from what it was by the show start time. I mean.
Yeah,
and then
looking around the stadium, I could see everyone was clapping along with the music and everything. Yeah. It got that good reaction there. Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Okay, and then the last of, no, not even the last of the last of the pre-show matches, the Von Erichs, Sammy Guevara, Shibata, and Dustin Rhodes with Kevin Von Erich defeated the Undisputed Kingdom and Cage of Agony. And I didn't know this until obviously I saw it on Twitter. But who didn't coordinate things so that Sammy Guevara and Brian Cage were both dressed as Wolverine on opposite teams?
I don't know if it was that.
Yeah, so like Goldust was a Deadpool-inspired version of his costume, tagging with Guevara in a Wolverine, and then Brian Cage, who's literally his whole career has been that he is Wolverine. Came out dressed as Wolverine. So how did they not? How did they not know?
They didn't call each other before.
Deadpool, did you say?
I'll find it for you. But guys, discuss just what.
I thought it was just using his usual. I thought it was just in his usual.
It's so close. It's so close. But yeah, it was Deadpool basically.
Okay. I mean, it was what it was.
Good Canadians right there. Deadpool and Wolverine.
It was what it was. I didn't even know this match was happening. Last time I saw, I thought they put out an open challenge for their tag titles, and I thought who's going to do that? But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I knew as well.
10-man tag. I was like, oh my God, how many people are getting on this pre-show?
Yeah. Actually, I just want to interject and ask Corey a question here. So, how do you feel about Deadpool and Wolverine? That Wolverine is a Canadian character played by a non-Canadian, and Deadpool is an American character, a non-Canadian character played by a Canadian. How does that work for you?
Canadian. They're both Canadian.
Okay, fair enough.
Both characters are Canadian. I mean, Hugh Jackman, he's Australian, which is the Canada of Australia.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Okay.
That's true. That's true.
I've seen it now.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, nice.
So, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Perfect. Yeah.
Jeez, I'd probably find it if I could think how to spell Guevara.
Goldust still got it, eh?
Yeah.
It was a bit confusing when 10 to 6.
You're muted, Dave.
The House of Black came in. I was like, what's going on here? They got everyone's introductions out of the way before the pay-per-view properly started.
Yeah. I think it's you, Corey. I can hear him. We're all good. Right. I'm going to take this opportunity to show you a Sammy Guevara tweet, and I just want your opinion on it, right? Because I tweeted this to him. He shared this. He put some, like, pun thing. Well, not pun, but, like, a little jokey thing. All in versus all out he put on his Twitter last night. So, there he is all in, there he's all out, because he's, like, tuckered out or whatever. Tell me, does that not look like Michael Jackson dead in his coffin? He really looks like dead Michael Jackson in his coffin, though. Like, what's going on?
You're trying to tell me that Michael Jackson got less pale when he died?
No, but you know what I mean? They put makeup on him, like, it's the one time. He looks, like, a little bit freaky in that photo.
I wouldn't be doing comparisons with Michael Jackson in that photo, considering there's a baby in there. But...
Oh, God, don't make it worse. Right, I'm just literally saying the man's face looks like it's made of plastic. Right, so anyway, we get on to the main card, where we have the Blackpool Combat Club and Pac, who got a good reception, defeating the Patriarchy, the Bang Bang Gang, and the House of Black, 4-way ladder match for the AEW Trios Championship. For me, when they brought out the giant ladder, and we were just like, you could just knock this down. Just knock it down and gather up the belts.
this is a match I knew that where I was sitting, I wasn't going to be able to see much of it because the ladders, the belts were completely obscured by the truss of the setup system. So I was like, well, I'm going to be using a screen for a lot of this one. It was great actually because where we were, the sound of all the action that happened in there, anytime we heard a bump or anything coming from the ring, it synced up. By the time it got to us at the top there, it synced up with the video screen. So it was actually it worked perfectly. The delay.
Awesome.
Quite impressed with that. But I can't remember a huge amount about this match apart from a lot of sort of stunts and which was what you would expect from this sort of match.
Yeah. TJ, thoughts?
I'm very happy that Pac got his Wembley moment. I think Pac is one of those like really underrated wrestlers, and I don't think we are going to see him win the world championship in AEW or any other company. But this was still like a big thing for him, and also I didn't realize it until I was watching this match how much Pac really fits in Blackpool Combat Club. It's his whole persona is kind of the same philosophy as that of the BCC. So I hope this is not just temporary
the
thing, and I hope
BCC is disgruntled former WWE plus Wheeler Yuta. So that is like the ethos of the group. So he fits in perfectly.
You can make that argument for a lot of factions, but
true.
But then again, it's just that I feel like this whole so if you watch the video they made for Danielson with the Green Day song Good Riddance, there was a point where I don't even remember when Moxley said this, but it was probably one of the promos when they were doing their program, where he said that when Danielson walked in AEW, he was excited because he could make a group of unmitigated pro wrestling violence, and that kind of goes for John Moxley. That kind of goes for Danielson. You can fit Claudio there, Wheeler Yuta there, but if that goes for someone, it goes for Pac. So I absolutely love Pac being a part of this this faction. I hope it's he again, spoilers for later. He did also show up after like the main event. So I'm guessing he's officially a part of the BCC. So
still in his ring yet.
Yeah, so of course.
Spent the last 4 hours.
Well,
that's
a good point.
Do you remember like
a
long time ago, like before AEW even came into
press conference too,
yeah, you remember when and then Pac just shows up in his ring gear.
It was funnier for me because the last time I'd seen Pac was in the Cockpit Theatre, former home of Xstreamed Improv. And when Rev Pro did their monthly shows there, I just watched him versus Zack Sabre Jr. in that venue. And the next time I see him, he's at that press conference like a day later, still in the same ring gear he wore in the.
Was he on the
so it's like he's on the plane in his ring gear, got a whole way over the States to do this press conference.
See, the thing with Pac is, I remember when AEW first started, it really was him saying, "Oh, Hangman Page, I'm gonna beat you, and I'm gonna be the first world champion." And then was it that he didn't come in until a bit later because like Dragon Gate or something? He was a champion, and they didn't want him to lose. Anyone vaguely remember this?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and like, he probably would have been world champion within the first year, other than Jericho probably said, "Nah, I'm gonna be champion." Right? I think Jericho definitely did a power play for that first year.
But I feel like it was kind of necessary for Jericho to be, the first world champion, because as much as I would really liked it if someone like Kenny Omega or one of the guys from there would have been the world champion. Also, since you're pushing the narrative that at that time WWE was a company that would exclusively push part-timers or like really old people, so you want to be different, so you would really want a younger champion. But then I hear a lot of these people so one of the things that they talk about AEW is Chris Jericho. Last year when they did the Jericho Ospreay match, I didn't understand why that was happening, but then I heard from a lot of people there, Like I hear this guy called Will Ospreay is facing Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Even though we might not like Chris Jericho, it's still a big name, so I guess it was kind of needed.
Oh yeah, like okay, so in terms of AEW, like I'd say Jericho's still easily the top 5 biggest names they've ever had.
Yeah.
Only CM Punk is obviously, I'd say, the biggest name, or is someone I'm forgetting? And then it has to be Jericho is the next biggest name. Because you could say
Adam
Daniel
Copeland.
Bryan.
I would say Adam Copeland is the biggest name.
Yeah, fair point. Except no one knows the name Adam Copeland. You know.
Luther, we have Luther too, though, Dave.
Yeah,
Dave,
and he is
Luther.
from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
That's right.
Dr. Luther.
Greatest.
There you go.
Good.
Oh, did
Sorry,
people
I couldn't hear
see
you guys
stuff
for about 10
on
minutes.
did you see about, like, they're saying once again rumors that Kevin Owens not going to be under contract much longer? Why would he jump now? Like, unless he really doesn't get on with Triple H, he's got to be so comfortable.
I mean, I think
WWE
at this point, it's just if you want to have certain matches. I think I also don't think Kevin Owens has a lot to do in WWE. Again, I don't see him, whether he stays in WWE or he goes to AEW, I don't see him becoming a world champion in either of the companies, which is crazy because a few years ago he was one of my he was at that point my favorite wrestler, but I just don't see him becoming a world champion.
I think he's definitely got one more, probably world heavyweight championship in him, where they'll make it a thing that it's this many years since you were Universal Champion. You know, you're Mr. Night 2 main event of WrestleMania. The only reason you were there the second time was because of Sammy, and then there'll be something where he has to do it this one lot. Basically, the storyline they were going to do with him when he was going to get a main event, where he's like, I've got to do it for my kids and stuff like that. But then, like, Goldberg came in or whatever happened, and then he didn't.
He had that match against Stone Cold.
Well, exactly, yeah. You know, sorry, not Night 2, Mr. Night 1. So he main evented WrestleMania Night 1 against Austin. Next year, main event tagging with Sammy against the Usos of Mania. I think he'd be crazy to leave, but time will tell.
Yeah.
I mean, they could, like, I think around the time when his contract is up, they could maybe give him the world championship around that time. Be like, hey, look, we are gonna build this. Oh no, Gunther's the world champion, right?
Yeah.
He usually has really long reigns, so okay.
He might lose in Berlin.
Nah.
No.
Randy Orton calls him German.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
In his hometown of Berlin, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, guys, let's come back. We'll cover everything, but let's come back.
Let's do it.
Because I think we're still technically on the first match of All Out here.
I'm just just finished the ladder match.
Yeah. So next up, we had Toni Storm and Mariah May. I was surprised. I was genuinely surprised. I thought they would just keep running with Toni.
No, this was the time.
This was the time. This was perfect.
This was timeless.
Wow.
Did you see that the BBC website and their culture section did an article about this feud?
No.
Oh yeah, it's based on an old film, right?
Well, based on All About Eve, which really weirdly my fiance suggested we watch about a month before that storyline started. So as soon as Brian debuted on Tony's side, I was like, "Oh, I know where this is going. Okay, this is cool." So it was. Yeah, I think it's definitely the right time to pull the trigger on the title change. But yeah, I was surprised how good the match was. Being in the arena, I had no idea who that woman was that Mariah slapped. Since today, found out it was her own mum.
That's so funny. Yeah,
I learned this right now. I've learned this right now.
Oh really? Oh yeah, it was so funny on the commentary. Shivani was like, "Oh my god, that's her own damn mother." It was so funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good little. I think the reversal of Tony drawing the blood on Mariah this time was a nice little homage to obviously the angle that started all this, and it was better than I was expecting it to be. I thought it would be good, but it was even more.
Yeah, well executed for sure. They're both such content professionals for sure. And then Mira Shirakawa, they just kept cutting her.
And look, once again, I get why the TBS title match went on like third from the end, but this match was a much better match, and it was the women's world title match. So it going on second perhaps wasn't the best positioning for it.
I was also quite surprised at the positioning of the lot of the matches. Like, I mean, I feel like that's also, I remember a few years ago. It was the SummerSlam, I think, where we had John Moxley, then Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler, and that was a WWE title match, and it was somewhere in the middle of the card. And then you have Roman Reigns versus Rusev, which is like for the US title. It's the second last match, and I'm like, okay, doesn't really make sense.
So, which year was that? What was the final match? Surely that would have been a world title.
I think that was the one where Finn got injured. That's the Balor versus. I think. I'm not sure, or maybe
did Balor and Seth finish the show?
Or maybe that wasn't also. Was that the main event? I don't think that was the main event either.
No. Well, either way.
It was Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton.
Well, there you go. So, Dean Ambrose, one of the reasons why you can imagine that eventually he'd leave WWE is even when he was like in the world title picture, he's one of these guys, much like CM Punk was back in the day, world champion. Vince didn't give him the nod as main event still. He'd be champion, but not main event. Ziggler it was like the king of that. He would, never be the one going out last.
I was thinking about the Jericho. He told a story several times about how he knew he was done with WWE when him and Kevin Owens feud, that like the best friend celebration festival and all that, and the big turn and everything like that. And then they took the title off that feud, and then they put them up. He said, I think, second on the match. He's like, you never want to be that. And then I'm thinking about this match, the Tony Storm and Ryan May, and then subsequently the next match I think was Hook versus Jericho. The FTW title, which is the most prestigious.
Right. Yeah.
The most prestigious title in all of AEW.
Did you guys see the press conference where a journalist was like, "Hey, this, so the FTW title, it started off as a joke, and Tony Khan got really offended. It's like, it was not a joke. It's not a joke. Yeah, hi guys. Oh my god, see, look, whatever people's opinions are of Jericho, he absolutely can get anything over. Like, how has that been a thing? How is that a thing? The whole, I don't know about you, Dave, the whole section I was in, hi guys stood up on their feet. No?
So good.
I saw people just heading for a piss. One guy behind me.
You got a pen click over.
There was one guy behind me. I'm glad we haven't actually talked about it yet. I was sat behind an absolute bellend. There was a couple of people in front of me who were also having a few drinks and things. The guys in the pre-show, two guys in front of me were absolutely fine. They were sometimes turning around, like if we'd said something and all that sort of stuff, and bantering and all that sort of spaces with what's going on. But then these other two guys joined in their row, and one of them was off his face. He was like, "Oh, I'm buzzing, mate. I'm buzzing, bro. I'm old school, bro. I'm old school. Yeah, man. I'm so good. Yeah,
Dave, I wasn't there. What are you talking about? I wasn't there.
He was talking. He was ruining most of the show for me. But he was but when Jericho came out, there was one guy behind me who went, "Oh, absolute effing legend. Oh, sod all the marks," or whatever. It was like, I almost turned around to him and just went, "Yeah, do you want to talk about anything else apart from not why he might actually be not very popular? Nothing springs to mind." No. Okay. No, I can't stand Jericho at the minute. I was actually surprised I didn't walk off myself. And this was the worst match on the show. Big Bill was over though.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, I can't believe that guy. Like, fairness to him, but I thought he sucked back in WWE. Like, I thought it was all about Enzo.
7 feet tall, you can't teach that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
but you can learn things under Jericho, apparently.
You can.
He can be taught. There you go. That's the one thing Jericho's done. Jericho can be taught. But no, thankfully I did like the fact that obviously there was no rules and they just went straight for the fact that it was going to be a 3-on-1 handicap match for the most part. And then Taz commentary.
The ending was great. Yeah, with Taz.
Yeah, I was going to say when we got the dual Taz missions, like again, my whole section, like they were really into it, but
that.
the Taz moment, that was cool. That was again some of this, right? One of the weird things about like being a wrestling fan when you've been watching it for years and years is like when you're younger and you watch it, you'll be like, oh, I hate the heel or whatever, and now you're just like, I want them to get their moment. I'm like, oh, I'm just happy for Taz, him and his son doing this thing together, you know. So
truly, yeah, it was really cool to see that, and I was like, that because up to this point, Taz was always on commentary, being like, that he said that's not what the FTW title's all about. I hate this guy, and then finally, it was a great moment for him to finally get involved in front of such a huge audience, right? Like, that was a great payoff, I think, for this storyline, and hopefully they wrap it up.
I just want this to continue.
It's been 5 months of this story.
Yeah, but I want
5 months.
I just want like Hook to be like, do you know what, Taz? You've always been a deadbeat dad, and I just want father versus son.
Yeah.
That
He'll align with Christian Cage.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
but I also, much like Dave, I can't stand Jericho anymore. At one point, he used to be my favorite or overall performer because I always felt like he was a good blend of mic work, in-ring skills, which has declined a lot, character work. I always felt that, but then with these days I just can't stand him. However, I also have to agree with David that he can really get anything over. Like when this whole learning tree thing started, I was like, oh my god, no. But then there was, I don't remember which promo was it, but there was this one promo. It was so funny. I'm like, he has done it. This guy has done it.
Well, see,
he's just
the one.
Yeah,
No, go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he's just so self-aware. When he feels fans turning on him, he's like, yeah. Hi guys, I'm doing this promo because I want more TV time. This is called TV time with the learning tree. It's like,
and
it's so like on the nose.
And it absolutely works in the sense.
It's too on the nose for me.
But it absolutely works in the sense that he was like when all the problems for him started like a year ago, whenever this was now, he was a face, and he was like he at least could read the room to be like, well, I need to lean into this as a heel. Whereas so often we get people that don't do that. Like, I mean, probably most famously of all, for years of the hate towards John Cena until he became legend status, and now people love him without ever getting the boo reaction. And actually the same for Roman Reigns, where again they weren't accepting him in his role, and eventually he had to turn heel for it to work. But
I'll say a counterpoint to that though is that obviously you're saying that he's been able to change this and to get different character and capitalize on the hate and all that sort of stuff. It's all very easy when he is constantly on the TV. There's not one episode of AEW where he doesn't have a segment. There are a lot of people on that show and in that roster that probably would kill for like even one segment on a show. And Jericho, I mean, there was an episode of, I can't remember, it was Dynamite Collision, where he had about 5 segments.
Yeah,
there was like one out of the ring, and then 3 backstage, and then one more like the beatdown thing later on.
So
and I was just like, why is he getting all this television time? It's just because he's got that status and got whatever hold he's got over Tony Khan.
Yeah,
they just go in with this certain thing. And if anyone else on the roster had been accused of what he'd been accused of, they would have been off TV, fully investigated. But no, because it's Jericho.
So, Dave, I don't know if you got one of these, but I had to get myself one of these programs for an absolute fortune. But basically, it is their roster, and you can go through it. And there are so many of these wrestlers where I've forgotten they're in AEW because it's just been so long since you've seen so many of them on television. Like, if I didn't have names near some of them, I wouldn't even know who they are. But it's been a long time where lots of people haven't had TV time, and that some we'll get onto it probably bit by bit, but I'll get into it more myself later. Just like as good as all the matches were, just like some of the wrestlers that were featured and weren't featured, and the order of the matches and who went against who were a little bit head scratching to me at times. Doesn't stop it being a great show. But the biggest one, which I'll just say it now since I'm on this topic. So clearly, it started a year ago when Nigel McGuinness turned up. I think they had him do the announcement of All In last year. Oh, and the attendance is this. The entire year they've been building up that clearly at this show he was going to be wrestling Bryan Danielson. 100%, 100%. That's where this whole thing has been building up to a year.
He's like what Drew is to CM Punk. He's like the biggest Bryan Danielson hater.
And if he was going to come back and wrestle, it was clearly going to be at All In. And then, God bless him, he put in the work, and he did have a match here. But clearly they had a change of plan along the way. Because they'd also announced about a year ago that Danielson said that he was going to wrestle for one more year and then be part-time. Now, we'll get into more Danielson stuff towards the end. But, it was just so strange that they had Nigel McGuinness have a return after, I think they said 13 years. And it was in an unannounced thing. Now, I think for hardcore wrestling fans, we know who Nigel McGuinness is. And if you watch Ring of Honor, or if you saw him as Desmond Wolfe or whatever else, but this could have been an angle to try to get more people to want to see this guy come out of retirement, to perhaps sell some extra tickets here and there, and it was unadvertised. And we'll get to Sting later, but the biggest name on the card actually was Sting, and he was unadvertised, and it was things like this. But anyway,
hey,
go for it.
Just sorry to interrupt you. Coming back to what we were talking about a bit before about the top 5 names in AEW. Yeah, Sting would also definitely be one of them.
Absolutely. Well, Sting is
maybe even bigger than CM Punk.
Maybe, probably. There'll be more people in the world who know who Sting is. Than know who CM Punk is, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My 2 cents. I thought it was perfectly done. This gauntlet match until the ending. I thought this was easily the best casino gauntlet match they've done, because I've been a bit iffy on the rules of it anyway. I didn't like this idea that you could just end the match at any point. And,
not everyone's in yet.
Really?
I really like that. I don't like that. Yeah, that's the whole point. Apparently, there's officially 21 entrants, and but it can end just pinning.
No, I meant sorry. No, I meant really you don't like that, because for me,
no, I don't.
I kind of find this to be the more I think about this, I find this to be a more balanced version of the Royal Rumble, where even if you're number 1, it's not like you walk in with a disadvantage. If you end the match, there are 2 people, the match can end at any time.
Yeah.
But imagine if this replaced the Royal Rumble, and number 1 and 2 go in, and 1 rolls up number 2, and then the show is over.
Exactly.
But that's also the thing. The Royal Rumble, it's an annual thing. It's so you want the Royal Rumble match to be pretty big. But with this match, they can do it on an episode of Dynamite where it's 5 people, and
was it in WCW, or maybe it was TNA, where there'd be basically a battle royal, and then the last 2 have to wrestle a match?
That was TNA, yeah.
Okay, so
that was their gauntlet match, yeah.
Yeah,
but that was also
like this.
But also AEW kind of did that in their initial 2 years. I think the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal, the last 2 people would wrestle the following week on Dynamite.
Yeah, just do
but
that.
My point, going back to what I was saying about because of we're talking about Nigel McGuinness being the surprise, one of the surprise entrants in it. I just thought it was perfectly done. It was the perfect place to do it. Whether obviously I didn't necessarily believe it was set in stone a year ago and that sort of stuff. That's fine, but I don't necessarily agree with that. But obviously there was lots of rumours about him coming back anyway. But I don't think because they hadn't been really talking about anything, any allusion to him coming back at all in any shape or form. This debut was perfect. It was as soon as that music hit and everyone just saw his name flash up, the entire crowd lost their shit. And it was a perfect place to do it because it's full of hardcore wrestling fans.
Yeah,
they know Nigel. A lot of them are former Ring of Honor fans from back in the day. The people who enjoyed that sort of era would have gone absolutely ballistic for it, which they did. I saw it was really great start to the gauntlet. And on a side note, that is officially the second time I've been at Wembley Stadium and the Oasis track "Fucking the Bushes" has played, and everyone's lost their shit.
What? Okay, what was the other one?
When Oasis played Wembley in the year 2000.
Okay, fair enough.
That was the first. They played that before the band came on. Everyone went, "Whoa!"
Oh my
Anyway.
god. Okay, so look, we've skipped over the tag match, but let's stick on the gauntlet match since we're there.
Are we? Oh,
Yeah, don't worry. Right.
easily done because it was so forgettable.
Wow. Okay, but what I was gonna say, guys, how well do you know Mr. Bean? Orange Cassidy's entrance was Mr. Bean's TV. That's one of the things I love most about AEW. Like WWE would never do something that's that much of a deep cut into something where it's just like you can imagine people being like, "Oh, what would be fun to do? Oh, do you remember Mr. Bean?" In WWE, that'd be like, "It's too old," and it would never. That would never happen. But
It's not. It was a part of my childhood. Like growing up, I loved Mr. Bean, and seeing that, I was like I knew it was going to be Orange Cassidy. I didn't even have to. It's like, I know where this is going.
I'm not going to lie. I was hoping Rowan Atkinson was going to actually make an appearance. I was like, no way! This is going to be amazing. Right? I was like, is he going to be ring announcer?
Just behind that carriage that's on the stage the whole time. Out he comes in the mini on top of the sofa.
Oh my god! Yeah. No, but so who started it? Okada and Cassidy. Then
Okada and Cassidy.
Then McGuinness came in. Who was next? Who else was? No, who else was in it?
Kyle O'Reilly, Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh yeah, Ricochet
debut. Yeah.
I like
Hangman and Jarrett. That was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jarrett got a massive pop.
For me, also, like when Nigel McGuinness came out, I know that Zack Sabre Jr. isn't signed to AEW, but it just hit me out. This would have been a perfect match to have Zack Sabre Jr. And then a while later, his music hits, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is like so cool. Also, something with McGuinness was, my idea was that maybe Hangman's winning this, and they're doing Hangman swerve at All Out. Then, when McGuinness's music hits, it kind of made me think, what if he wins, and what if Danielson wins in the main event, and they do Danielson McGuinness? So that was also like, I was for quite some time expecting, like, I know McGuinness he's probably not winning, but
yeah,
it was something that was.
I didn't imagine that would happen, but look, if they'd just planned for it and they'd done Danielson McGuinness and that'd been their plan for, because I truly think I've seen signs for it for the last year, where as soon as he was really attacking Danielson, I was like, well, this has to lead to something. This is leading to a match. And clearly he was training for a comeback. So clearly the plan changed somewhere. And then he just got put in as a surprise person in the Battle Royal or Gauntlet match or whatever. If McGuinness had won, and then I said afterwards, like on our group chat, like, is Christian just going to cash in? Because, okay, so I say this, but for anyone watching, I was at SummerSlam 2013, and Daniel Bryan won the WWE title. Confetti, and then Orton came and cashed in. And I was like, I feel like history is repeating here. Right? Because Danielson won, confetti. I was like, oh my god, Christian's going to do it. But obviously that didn't happen. But I don't think if McGuinness had won, like, ending on that, I think too many people in the arena or people watching pay-per-view around the world, you know, it's been so long since...
I didn't mean him
fans
to...
only that would really...
No.
Yeah, go
ahead.
But
I didn't mean McGuinness to cash in at All In. I meant like 2 weeks in All Out. Like that's where
okay.
You have I didn't mean that. But
All Out, I've even forgotten entirely that All Out will be next, won't it?
Yeah.
So this is the confusing thing as well, because I thought that this match was to determine a number one contender for Grand Slam. Because a few weeks ago, Darby Allin had won the Royal Rampage match, which I thought was also a title shot for All Out. So,
I think
I'm confused as to who the number one contender is at the minute, because now Christian has now got a title shot you can cash in anywhere, anytime.
But I think Darby is the number one contender for Grand Slam. I
That's
feel
what I'm
like
confused about. Which one is it?
Yeah.
Just like just make it clearer.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about Ricochet. So this was the most obvious surprise or debut or anything that we were going to get at the show. Did it deliver for you guys?
It
Yeah.
did what I expected him to do.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, but
Yeah.
is that the point? Did we? Was he just WWE Ricochet and not anything more? Or is he going to? Where do we see Ricochet going in AEW? Obviously, they're going to build up and have him wrestle Ospreay. They'll recreate some of their magic, and people will be like, "Yeah, but it wasn't quite as fast as before, or whatever they did."
Now people are gonna call them spot monkeys and say they can't tell stories and they can't do promos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that's what people love to do.
Look at the history of Ricochet versus Ospreay. There's a match in WCPW. There's a company
What
for a while.
Culture Pro Wrestling?
Yep, that's one. And they had a match where in the first minute the top rope broke, and they had the entire match for the rest of it. They'll do to the top rope, and they did it very well.
Wow.
Ricochet did a top rope moonsault. What I mean by that is he laid the top rope down on the mat and stood on it and did a regular moonsault off of that onto Ospreay. They'll recreate a lot of the magic stuff. You know, Ospreay's already been going off him on Twitter saying it's not the same Ricochet knew back in the day, all that sort of stuff. So I dare say that's probably going to be. I hope they don't rush it. I hope it's not like the thing they're going to do at All Out Grand Slam or something. It'll be Pac and Ospreay, won't it now? All Out. Pac challenged the winner of MJF and Ospreay.
Oh wow.
He won the number one. He won the number one contendership. This is the thing. Everyone's winning number one contendership matches here and there, and then they're not. It's not clear when they're getting their title shots. It's confusing.
AEW have too many titles. Like far too many, and like the hierarchy of them, of which one's more important than what, is confusing to me. Like I genuinely don't know if the international, American, whatever, All Atlantic Championship is better or worse than the TNT Championship anymore. I'm very confused on it. And again, the Women's World Championship played second fiddle to the TBS Championship again. And like obviously when Jade was champion and she was unstoppable, it was like, well, she's kind of the main unstoppable women's champion. So they're obviously the world title is up here. Is the trios belts or the tag belts more important? You know, it's everything's a bit of a confusing thing.
I think they also, what they can do is they have three shows practically. I know I've said this before many times, but I think they do need a roster split, and like you put some titles exclusive to Collision, you put some titles exclusive to Dynamite. You can have all of them.
But they've already got a roster split. They've got Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and they also have the Ring of Honor titles. It's not like Ring of Honor, they also have the Ring of Honor World Championship. So my original idea for Collision was that instead of having Collision, have AEW Honor or something. And again, if we are to believe the rumors and everything that Collision was the CM Punk show, CM Punk is ex Ring of Honor. You could have built a Ring of Honor show for CM Punk. I feel like the titles need to be split this way. Otherwise, like I see the point. Like they do have too many titles, and it can Okada, who is a champion, he's not defending his title. Like that's also like a complaint that I have.
Yeah. Well, does every championship need to be on this show?
I mean, you would want it. You would want that to be a thing.
Well,
right?
see, here's one of the things. Actually, you mentioned Okada. Okada is like this ginormous signing that they celebrated, and then he's just in a gauntlet match. I mean, this like it wasn't the best showcase for him. It wasn't the best use to. This is where they're going to have more eyes on them on AEW than the entire rest of the year.
But I also think Okada I think that like Okada joining the Elite is kind of something that does go with the Okada character because he was always like the moneymaker, like
Yeah.
this thing. However, it's also so un-Okada because the Elite is kind of an extension of the Bullet Club, and Okada's entire career has been him fighting the Bullet Club. So it's kind of like it was interesting, and I'm honestly also really enjoying Okada as a part of the Elite. Especially, they also did this in this match where when the match started, Okada and Cassidy they hugged, and then then they turned and
That was
he
great.
faces the camera and he's like,
Yeah.
he's
That
amazing
was
with these
actually that was a great
expressions.
moment. Just because when he's like this, I was like, what's he doing? Like, and it was like, give the people what they want, but obviously,
But
and
also,
that fits. That fits.
I feel like Okada is actually, especially with his expressions and everything, he's pretty good at comedy. Before AEW, I always imagined Okada as just a very good wrestler. But my idea of Okada coming to AEW was that he's going to be this unbeatable
Serious?
wrestler, this final
Yeah.
boss that what he was in New Japan. But this is
Yeah.
actually quite different from what I have seen from Okada. Also, considering that he has faced most people in AEW in high profile matches. This is something new. So, and probably when probably their idea was
Yeah,
to
has
do
he
Kenny
wrestled
versus
Omega?
Okada
He has Omega's. How long's Omega been out? A while now.
quite some time.
Yeah, quite
Quite
some
some
time.
time. So I'm assuming their idea was maybe also to do Omega Okada at All In, but because of the injury, and so
Fair
maybe
point.
I don't know. They announced Grand Slams in Australia, also Forbidden Doors next year in the UK. Maybe they do Okada Omega in one of those shows. Maybe All In, which is a stadium show in the US next year. Maybe they do Okada Omega next year. So
Did they announce, Dave? Perhaps you or either of you might have seen this. Where is Forbidden Door? Did they say it was August?
Haven't announced the venue yet. No.
But it's August, isn't it? Like basically the same
weekend.
weekend.
Same weekend, but they haven't announced a venue yet.
Interesting.
Or it says London.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it could be the O2, could be Wembley Arena, could be the Copper Box, could be some. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So let's come on to the Young Bucks defeating FTR and the Acclaimed. Do you know what? Good for them for like. One thing I really like is that they did give like some special entrances and things. Obviously, Mercedes came out in a like queen carriage thing, pulled by men because obviously it'd scare horses, and they've learnt that the hard way with Hunter Horse Helmsley in the past. Jack Perry had his broken glass, and like on his entrance, on like the entrance aisle, on like the pipe, on the LCDs and stuff like this. The Orange Cassidy one, and then obviously the Young Bucks were the Beatles.
also, Will Ospreay had an amazing entrance, like
I
the
missed
Assassin's
it.
Creed.
Do you know what? I completely missed.
A promo for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, do you know what? Is that what
I
it
know.
was?
I know it.
I saw some like flippy stuff happening, but I was dealing with an issue which I won't get into. But yeah, I completely missed his entrance.
It was. I mean, I know it's a promotion for Assassin's Creed, but yes, as someone who really enjoys Osprey wrestling and as someone who played Assassin's Creed as a kid, it was pretty sick.
Wait,
To
you enjoyed Assassin's Creed as a kid?
Yeah.
God damn, I'm feeling really old. Right. Anyway.
Osprey's done Assassin's Creed stuff for like a long while. That's where
Yeah.
he got his name from, essentially. So he's done those style of entrances before. So I'm sure him do for a company called Southside. They used to run fairly regularly, and they did a very low key, a lower budgeted version of that sort of entrance. We came in with the assassin stuff and laid out two guys on his entrance, but that was in like a community hall in Braintree or something like that, you know. So it's not really exactly the same sort of thing. But yeah, no, it was a cool entrance, as was MGS. But let's go back to the tag match.
Guys.
I didn't think.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Unfortunately, I've got some very sad breaking news, which I can share with you now, but I think we're here, so I don't think we should just. Apparently, Sid Vicious has passed away. Psycho Sid.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm ever so sorry to spot that and tell you live, but it's kind of like a show-stopping kind of. Look, Sean Ross Sapp has reported it.
Oh man, that sucks.
That is terrible to read.
Yeah.
Oh,
Passed
man,
away from
that's-
cancer, it says.
Cancer? Didn't know he had it.
Yeah, me either.
For
Oh, that sucks.
several years. That is awful to read. Ugh.
Same. Yeah, his son's shared it. Ah man, that sucks. What a character!
mean-
What a character!
Yeah, like well, we like obviously we don't have to suddenly start discussing that if you don't want to. We can
Yeah.
just like, but yeah, floored by that. Really sad. Sid, genuinely, one of my favorites growing up. Like, you know, he was the original heel that I ever liked, probably. Out of anyone that was a heel, like I hated him when he wouldn't tag Hogan, but like when he was, when he like obviously came in as Michael's bodyguard and then turned on him and the whole Psycho Sid stuff. Yeah. Ah, very very sad to hear that.
It was I don't remember that it was I first heard him when he was Sid Justice came in as that character.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen him before, and I was just this massive guy just going, okay, who is this dude? This is crazy, and then doing the sort of like the guest referee spot. But then it was the first time I'd ever seen a power bomb as well. So that was the first time I was like, okay, what is that move? I love that. But yeah, no, it's got those. He's one of those guys that you just can do so many quotes about. So he can do all the stuff with the 22 situation. And when you see the name number 22, you just go 22. And then do that whole thing in his car in parked in space 22 or something, and Goldberg had it crushed.
Yeah.
Nitro, and then what's the one? The famous one from WCW where he says, "You're only half the man that I am,
Yeah.
and I only have the brain that you do."
And we're live power. Like Sid, you know, has got some of the funniest like promo botches ever. But like genuinely, like to me, if I could have a matchup across time, just for their intensity, and just like the face-off, if nothing else, imagine Sid and Brock Lesnar face to face. Oh my god! Like that would have been, like I don't know, like obviously, and again, like you know, just read that the poor guy's passed away, so I don't want to suddenly just saying about botches and that. But his match, like in your house 4 or 5 or whatever it was, him versus Kevin Nash. If you just count the number of forearms in that match, where clearly no one was leading it, and that was you get these 2 7-foot guys. All they can try to do is throw each other around. So like Sid was a powerhouse, and so he was better. He put him against Shawn Michaels, put him against a smaller guy where he can absolutely dominate them. You know, it wasn't that you're going to get like a hour-long classic match out of him. Corey, I don't know if you heard what we were just saying here. Psycho
yes,
Sid
I heard. Yeah.
So
yeah, it was before my time, but you know, yeah, he's one of those names that as soon as you jumped into the wrestling fandom, you just were aware that he was a kind of a larger than life person, and you know, yeah, and like he was Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid.
yeah,
I know all that just by like WWE's, I guess, packages and stuff like that, and yeah, I also had like an old WCW game way back when for the PC, and he was one of the playable characters. So
amazing. What was probably his last appearance? Because I think he was going to do. They were going to have him in the Hall of Fame, and it didn't work out. But who was it that kept calling out? Was it like?
It was Heath Slater.
Yeah. Heath Ledger, did I just say?
Did you say Heath
Heath
Ledger?
Slater.
No,
Heath Slater.
Slater.
Right.
oh, that's fun.
And yeah, no, not Heath Ledger. Heath Slater was like basically said, and I will rule the world, and then suddenly the Psycho Sid theme comes on and stuff
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
coming out and saying everyone's like legendary phrases, and then that character, that guy would come out.
Yeah.
Like 1 week it was like, because it's time for me, it's Slater time. Now comes Vader.
Yeah.
Next week, yeah, because I rule the world, and that amazing music they made for him for that.
Oh my
character.
god, yeah.
Psycho Street.
Do you know what? I knew that music before I ever saw the film Psycho. So when I eventually like knew of that film, I'm like, it's got Psycho Sid's theme. And it's like, no, you idiot. Yeah, he has the Psycho theme.
Psycho Sid.
Yeah. And for years, also, I thought Psycho was spelt with an S because of Psycho Sid. Someone's got their pencil sharpener going on speed dial. Right. Okay, guys. Let's. We can obviously come back to this, but let's. We're a couple matches away from the end of All In. Let's. Any further thoughts on the Young Bucks, FTR, and the Acclaimed? I was hoping that Daddy Ass would do it 2 years in a row, but it didn't happen.
I didn't think much of the match overall. There was a fun couple of bits where they were getting to do each other's finishes, but with a different partner and all that sort of bits and pieces. That was quite fun, that part. But I don't know. I think it's been said online a few times that these are three really stale teams at the minute, and that it's just not really working out. I think Acclaimed are starting to wane a little bit. I didn't think the rap was that good. I couldn't really make out what he was saying.
I couldn't make out it properly.
Yeah, the echo, right? Yeah, even like watching the video of it.
It's something about like Bret Hart Wank Fest or something like that.
Yeah.
I was about something like that, but it was just like, oh god. But it was nowhere near as the level of you're a bigger disgrace than Prince Andrew from last year. That was the line of the night. But yeah, it was fine. Most exciting bit for me was when the Grizzled Young Veterans showed up at the end. I suddenly realised, I was like, hang on, who are they?
I didn't know. Yeah. Like I was watching it. I had to go on Twitter afterwards, and I was like, who is that?
Yeah, fair enough. It wasn't the biggest pop in the world, but those who knew who it was, like popped. So it was like me and about 100 other people.
Yeah. But no, I think you bring up a good point. Look, AEW, their tag team division, they are kind of like the three main tag teams, because a lot of tag teams that we also get are kind of this guy and this guy, or and then we'll get like lower tag teams, whatever version of the Dark Order we've got, Gold Dust and whoever he's taking under his wing this month. And so what do they do about their tag division? They've given a complete overhaul to the Young Bucks. They're now the EVPs, and if it hasn't really changed, that they are more stale than not, what do you do?
Well, they've got Edge and Christian, two Canadian boys.
Well, at some point, here's the thing: Christian has got to be the next world champion. Like, I swear to God, there is not a man in that company that deserves to be world champion more than Christian. No one has worked harder in AEW than Christian Cage. I swear.
I will say, I think
one might even say Christian's like the. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Oh, carry on.
One might even say Christian's the father of AEW at this point.
Yeah. Well, look, he was the only guy that was in 2 matches. Oh, I guess Luchasaurus was.
That's what I'm going to say. I think we missed the end of the gauntlet match where I had that whole thing. Obviously, towards in the ladder match, I'd said this to my friend Neil. I was trying to explain some of the stories about. Was this whole thing of Luchasaurus Killswitch has never actually held any of the titles that he's won in there, and then he goes up the ladder to get the title, and Christian stops him.
Yeah, what?
Says, no,
what?
I'll get them.
Yeah, no, that was a nice moment. There was weird gaps in logic with Christian and Luchasaurus though, because literally Luchasaurus is about to win. He's like, "No, I'll get them." It's like, well, now you're going to lose, and you did. And then suddenly Luchasaurus, and it's like his old theme and his old name. He comes out, he grabs Christian. Everyone's like, "This is it." It's like, well, who was he trying to trick? Like, it didn't help them in the match. Like, it literally. Why did they do that?
That whole thing. He's coming out. I'm going to be my own person. And he looks Christian. He's like, damn it, he's got a hold on me. It's fine. Just do it.
Maybe. It's for the crowd. It's for the audience.
Yeah.
Strategically,
I don't think it actually helped them. Although, obviously, in the end, Christian won. So he has to be world champion, though. He has to. And look, and he'll win it. Like, Daniel Bryan will come out. There'll be some big thing, and if he genuinely is retiring, because what he said in the press conference, people are interpreting. And again, we'll get to that. But why announce that if you lose, you have to retire, and if you win, you're world champion, but then you're going to retire? It changes the stakes. And look, he might want his last match to be in front of the biggest crowd that they're going to get, and maybe that's something. But does he want his last match to be in England? Why? I wouldn't want my last match to be in Canada. No offense, Corey. Oh, he's gone. That's perfect timing.
I think the whole so I think the whole Danielson wanting to retire thing, like, okay, there are a few things about this. Like, we have just heard from him that he told Birdie that when she is 7 years old, he's going to retire. But Danielson loves to lie. What if this was just this long
What,
running?
to his children?
No. What if he just lied to the rest of us? What if there was nothing like this that happened? And also, how does this work? Like, Birdie's going to be 7 for a whole year. So when does he retire? So
Well worked out there.
yeah, think about it this way. So Danielson, he just holds the title, and every match he has, we are like, okay, that's the one he's losing, and he's retiring, and he just goes on for an entire year having like these big matches, and then so regarding him saying that he's going to retire if he is unable to win the title, they never made like an official storyline statement of him retiring. That was just something he said in an interview.
Well, yeah, he
so
did.
I guess
But I think he
Okay.
said that he'd be making an announcement about his future at Dynamite.
yeah. So also I feel like it was a part of like the storyline with Swerve and Danielson was that you had Eddie Kingston, you had Jeff Jarrett telling Danielson not to take Swerve lightly, and then he's like, okay, I'm going to, if I cannot beat him, I'm going to retire. And then I liked how these two storylines kind of merged, where Will Ospreay, he was also very not confident in using the Tiger Driver or Storm Driver, and then once Danielson gains his confidence back, he tells Ospreay, do it. He tells him that you need to use the Tiger Driver. So it's kind of like, you have the hero of the story who's a bit underconfident, then people tell him, no, you cannot take this lightly, and then he's like, okay, now I know what I need to do to beat Swerve. And he also realizes that he's the reason why Ospreay is not using his strongest move. So he's like, you gotta do it. So it's kind of, I don't know, for me, it makes more sense if you watch anime. Like, it felt kind of very anime for me, like one
There's already
protagonist
too
telling the
much
other.
AEW I have to watch each week to have to watch anime to get the context of this.
Yeah, 5 hours of content every week.
Yeah. Okay, let's stick with Ospreay and MJF because it is next after the casino thing. Yeah, like I felt it delivered. I loved that he was basically wearing Mighty Lex Express Lex Luger ring gear for the match. That was weird. From a distance, it was genuinely just like Lex Luger was in the ring from 1994. So that was cool. But I think the match completely delivered. You know.
Mm-hmm. I also love the storyline because with MJF, I love how it's like every feud he's in just builds up his character. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. It just
It's
builds
not that
his
emotional,
characters.
TJ. Don't worry.
Yeah, I got really
Yeah, I
emotional.
know.
It's the
about
anime.
MJF.
It's like it's doing. It's the anime.
MJF.
So, I mean, one of the things that I loved about the build-up was you have MJF who has turned babyface, and he's so he has the crowd that is behind him. He's still the same guy. He's still the same character. As he says, he's a scumbag, but he's our scumbag. However, then you have Ospreay come in, and everyone loves Ospreay more, and that's the key. The core feature of the MJF character is insecurity. He cannot stand another person being, dare I say, better than him. And then he just puts up this facade of him being America's champion and stuff. And then last week on Dynamite, at one point, Ospreay is like, I'm better than you. They love me more than they ever loved you. And then MJF, for that one small moment, he says, they loved me more before until you came in.
Yeah.
And that was the one point we saw, so, and that's what all of this was about. He cannot stand another person, like, which, and I love how it's consistent, whether he's a babyface, whether he's a heel, it's consistent.
Yeah.
And
then the match too, like on commentary, or like you could hear it, like you probably didn't hear it in the live there, but like he was like, anybody can do fucking flips. It doesn't matter. Look at this, and then that's when he did the flip off to the outside. It's like very clear that he was like, I'm just as good as you. Why do you like him so much better? It was
No, the MJF character throughout all of AEW, and it's consistent to. I saw bits and pieces of him in MLW beforehand. It's always stayed consistent. He almost never breaks character.
Yeah.
And and he has said a few times along the way, I can pull out these other moves. And when he does, it is like a whoa, he can. And he's someone that doesn't need to do it like constantly because his character is enough.
Yeah, the kangaroo kick, man. That's
I loved it. It came back.
So dumb. Yeah, that was a great match, and I love the over-the-top presentation off the top with the huge American flag. You know, America is the New Zealand to Canada's Australia. If you follow my metaphor.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're better than them, and we know it. But yeah, he's he never misses, in my opinion. I think it's wild that he didn't go to WWE because he probably could have got a lot of money there. But I mean, without him, what is AEW truly?
I can't imagine how much money he actually got on this new deal to not go to WWE with Cody in WWE. But the only thing I think would have probably held him back is because I believe that him and Cody genuinely are the friends that they portrayed to be in AEW. He probably looked at it and was like, well, Cody went to WWE 2 years ago now, and it took 2 years. Now he's going to get a long run. He probably looked at the top of that roster and was like, well, there's all these guys. Damian Priest, they've just given like a championship to, and Gunther's next in line, and Sami Zayn might get it, LA Knight might get it. Where am I going to fit in here? And he probably felt, I'm young enough to do one more contract cycle, and then I can make a decision again. But
also,
if he's getting he may legitimately be getting 3, 4, 5 million a year from Tony Khan.
Also, we often talked about how MJF in WWE, he might have to dumb down. He might not be able to. Now that when MJF's contract was, they were negotiating, no one knew that WWE would move to Netflix, and now WWE is still it's a better, he might not have to It's good to wait and see how the product is when he signs, because one of the reasons why MJF gets over is that he says whatever he wants to, and that might not work in WWE.
How long until MJF is world champion again? Because I'll be honest,
quite a long time.
I would say the low point of MJF's career in AEW was when he was world champion. Like, the stuff with Adam Cole worked up until it didn't, and when it didn't, to me, it really didn't.
Yeah.
The last stretch of, the Devil storyline, I'll give AEW a slight pass on that, because clearly the Devil was meant to play into everything with CM Punk. And then when they got to All In last year and everything that was happening around Adam Cole and him, Punk was now gone. Adam Cole's forever injured and stuff like this. It was, it just had to go away, basically.
Yeah. I think MJF's, again, one of those people that, he does not need the title as much as the title needs him. MJF, he's also like Jericho. He can get, I think, practically anything over. Him turning the international championship into the American championship. Yeah. Also, what
that's the old Lance Storm Canadian championship from WCW, correct?
That's right.
Yeah. Canada.
Also, what I found really funny was after Will Ospreay wins the title and the ref hands him the title, he doesn't even touch it. He's like, no, I'm not. I think at one point you can even hear him say, I'm not touching that. And he gets the international title. This guy wouldn't even put his hands on that title.
Oh, do you know what? I was hoping they were going to say the new United Kingdom champion, and they didn't. I was really hoping for it. Okay, let's move on. Mercedes Moné and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Yeah.
The only thing I've got to say about this match is this is the match that I finally moved seats from the drunk guy, because he was doing my head in at this point.
Where did you get to in the end, Dave?
So I really enjoyed the gauntlet match because he had gone. He'd gone for something, eat and drink.
No, I mean, where did you sit?
I'm drunk.
Okay, yeah.
So we were over in that section. We only moved only in the next section over because there was a lot of free split seats. But yeah, that was the sole highlight of this match because everyone around me, I think we said this in the group chat, everyone around me was having a chat. That was the only match I heard where I could just hear all of Wembley just talking.
Yeah. Likewise, I swear on my life, there was me and one other guy watching the match. And I say that, I started watching everyone else thinking, why is no one watching this? I was hearing, like, what you'll often find at these shows, and I think you said similar yourself earlier, Dave, about you were with your mate and you were explaining the context of some of the stories. I was hearing the context of everything during this match about, so why did this happen? So who's wrestling next? And I was hearing everything explained in this. Everyone was on phones. And then I just had to, I was like, well, I don't want to be the only one not on my phone. And that's when I started messaging the chat saying, what's up with this match? And it shouldn't have followed Ospreay. Baker's been, like, she has been, like, terribly poorly for a long time. Yeah, like, she basically had, like, was it a TIA, or, like, mini stroke sort of thing? And all the problems that she had. And then they put her in third from the end. Obviously, a year ago, Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks in the crowd at All In, and so obviously this was one of the things that was like, she wants to be at that, and so she was put on a massively high profile match, but. Like the internet, I didn't mind it as much as the internet are tearing it apart, to be honest. It wasn't the end of the world for me, except I think if the audience had been into it more, it would have felt better, but not a classic match.
It wasn't necessarily anything bad with the match. Like I say, it followed a really hot match, and there was no more life to it.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything really. I don't know what the title was at stake, but it didn't feel like it was much at stake because I don't think anyone really believed we were going to have a title change on this one.
Yeah,
it was also like not a hot angle, right? Like Britt came back and got like a pop there, but then I don't know, it just didn't really seem to have too much of a story behind it. You know, like compared to the other women's match for the women's title, which I arguably should have went in this place, maybe.
Yeah.
That was like 5-6 month long storyline. This was just kind of like, okay, well, we have Mercedes Moné, and we don't have anybody that we're gonna put her you're right. You could have put her against Paige or something like that, but just bring her against Britt Baker for the sake that Britt Baker is back. Sure, and Britt Baker is like the AEW original. Great.
I mean,
and
could
she
they
was
made
great.
this a three-way?
She still is great, but it was just poor positioning.
If this had been
not enough,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No reason to it really. Yeah. And then the match, like you said, it was great. They're both great in the ring, but just
if they'd made this a three-way
storyline or reason for the match, truthfully.
Sure. If they'd made this a three-way with Saraya in it as well, would have that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It perhaps could have protected whoever needed more time. Because to be honest, look, Mercedes has been injured. Going back a few months, she was injured, and she hadn't been wrestling tons, so she might have some ring rust, etc. Baker's obviously been off for a long time. Paige has been off for a long time, and then come out of retirement. So between them, they could have perhaps shaped it around, and then you've got Paige as the heel, perhaps could be beaten in the UK or not beaten in the UK if then she's got people on her side. I don't know. Okay.
You could have also had the Jamie Hayter return during the match where.
Yes, I said earlier.
Yeah, and that would have given it some extra spark. Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so the match when it came on, I was like, well, why is this the penultimate match? Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Darby Allin was all about what happened after the bell rang. It wasn't to be honest, it was really quite a one-sided match. Like for quite a long time of it, as soon as they'd got his hands tied, Darby Allin basically was done. And that was like 5-6 minutes before the end of the match, and it was only a 10-minute match.
Yeah, I saw like the screen and saw Darby's head popping out of the body bag, going like that. I thought, oh, he's going to come back.
Yeah.
I was down my phone for a moment. I looked back up and the bell had rung, and it was over. I was like,
Yeah. Okay, but so let me just quickly. I'll throw this to you, and then other people say, why didn't they say All In for the first time since he retired? Darby Allin accompanied by Sting. Put him on the poster. They would have sold. Even say it was like another 1,000 tickets. People would have come to see Sting.
Mm-hmm.
Why you have it as a surprise thing at a show like this? If it was a surprise on a Dynamite, sure. But for a show like this, they needed every tool. Compared to last year, you don't have Moxley on the card, you don't have Samoa Joe, you don't have CM Punk anymore. I don't know about
no Kenny Omega.
Yeah, no Kenny Omega. As I heard out loud playing on like the run up to Wembley Stadium, 2 different people playing CM Punk's theme with loads of people singing along. And it's like, so you've got all of these guys not on the card. Why didn't you advertise Sting?
Yeah. Or Fuego del Sol. They should have advertised him.
Is he still there? I thought he was gone.
He was under the mat the whole time, just in case they needed a run in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
He also helped set up the ring and then tore it down afterwards.
Yeah.
Nice dude.
Okay, so
yeah, you're right though. They should have advertised Sting for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have advertised a lot of things, but
yeah. Okay, unless there's any other thoughts on Jungle Boy and Darby, then we get to Danielson and Swerve.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the show, guys. Okay, fair enough. We've said it
I
all.
don't have got anything else to say about Darby. Sorry, I don't know. I think it's,
Yeah. Nothing else about that. That match was fine. I mean, I guess the important point was that it was the first time that he lost a casket match because that was his whole thing, right?
How many times has he had a casket match? Did he have a casket match at last All In? Was that a casket match? Right.
Yeah, him and Sting against
Coffin match.
Oh, sorry, a coffin match. But okay, so obviously the other thing that got the internet interested is that Nick Jackson shaved his mustache in between his match and then coming out to set him on fire. Apparently so, but coming out to help set Darby on fire. And it's just amazing that as soon as the lights went out, it magically blew out the lighter. So it's like if the lights go out, if you're planning to set the guy on fire, just throw it down.
We'll see.
Then you'll be able to see. You'll have a source of light. Yeah, it's fine.
Can we also like talk about how Darby Allin super glued thumbtacks on his face? Like
why?
Every time you think this guy cannot get any more insane.
I didn't understand what that was. I was looking at.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell. I thought he was doing a little tribute to Vivian for the young ones. I thought that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Pinhead, yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess if you were at the event live, you wouldn't be able to tell what was going on. But they told us a bunch on commentary.
Yeah.
Like he's psycho, he's crazy. It's like we get it, buddy. Yeah. You were hit by a bus.
You can tell that, no problem on that. So
Yeah, for sure.
As long as we're fine. Let's say it was 10 minutes and it was all just done and dusted, like saying it was all about the comeback. I don't necessarily think it was such a bad thing to not advertise thing. It's the surprise element. I think was the part, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole point of the match again. Yeah.
I also think like it's okay. You don't have to advertise. Everything. Like it's plus. I think that they're. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, look, don't advertise that you've got a surprise debut of Ricochet. Fine. Advertise Sting because he's the biggest name on the card, and you're in England where people have going to have watched him since the late 80s, and probably would have been like, "Oh, I'll go to see Sting."
I see where you're coming from. However, I think they also, for certain reasons, their 50,000 was their capacity. Like I think they had to change the some setup for the stage.
Yeah, their camera. It was just such a hard cam side this year. It was so hard.
No, I heard like because of Taylor Swift performing soon, they had some Wembley wanted them to have a less number of.
Imagine
that's the thing. That's why they had the stage set up the way they did. Last year they had it by the dugout and they had it down like on the narrow side of the aisles. to this, it was the reason I had the stage set up because that's there for Taylor Swift's concerts, and she had done one the night before, so they wouldn't have had the time to get
So the
that
thing is,
done down.
Well, I hope Tony Khan got
Hang
a
on,
discount.
I'll finish in a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
So they had the concert the night before, and there was no way they were going to get all that down and then change it around again, and then have to put it back up again for the next concert. So I guess the next weekend. Anyway.
Sorry again. So yeah, like that's my point. If you have if their aim was to do again a 90,000 and they had only sold 50,000 tickets, I understand advertising sting. However, if you're talking about like 500 to 1,000 more tickets, because you've already almost reached your capacity,
it was nowhere
give us
near
the pop,
capacity.
give us the surprise.
Look, they did. It was a fantastically large audience, but in the space, there were so many sections that were tons of there were the tons of red seats here, there, and everywhere. Okay. Like when I first went up to where I was originally sat, I was the only one there for quite some time, and like 2 or 3 other people came along, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was thinking I might move a little bit closer once I know that no one else is showing, but yeah, they would have sold more than 1,000 tickets to see Sting. You know.
And I mean, the most importantly about that is they could have, had more money, dollar, if they sold those extra tickets. Also, if, speaking of money, they could have put Shane O'Mac on.
Yeah.
He could have blew out a quad.
Yeah.
Sold, at least 5 extra tickets for the show. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You got to think about the money.
Do you know what? Like, who was it that turned up? Was it Daniel Garcia? Like, everyone around me thought that was going to be Shane McMahon. Yeah. Daniel and when it was Daniel Garcia, like, I'll be honest, like, maybe I've missed the full context here. I was just like, it was like the biggest letdown in the world to me. Because everyone was like, it's Shane. I was like, what? I was like, what have I missed? How is this Shane? And
who would like my thought was going to be Shane?
Literally. Well, I think it was one of these, like, sort of like these Chinese whisper kind of things. That might be an inappropriate term nowadays, but you know what I mean? Where things just sort of spread around you. And suddenly I was hearing it, I was like, oh my God, it's happening. And it was Daniel Garcia. So...
I mean, to be fair, Shane O'Mac is the greatest wrestler in the world. Got a title to prove it.
Best in the world.
That's right.
Right. Speaking of which, let's come on to Bryan Danielson, Swerve Strickland. Now, I think they made the right choice. I'm happy with the choice that they made. I think Hangman coming down, he didn't actually really. I don't think he actually got involved physically with Swerve. No. But the distraction means that Swerve was distracted. He can still look strong, and then he'll segue back to something with Hangman for a while whilst they do whatever with Danielson, and it was the best feel good moment they could have to end this show. It was the right choice.
Yeah. I thought it was very interesting, though, when you compare that finish and the finish to MJF and Ospreay, as you just mentioned with Daniel Garcia, that both the 2 top men's face champions won their titles after some slight interference.
Distractions for both of them. There's a lot of distractions on this show, for sure.
Yeah.
That was a bit strange. But yeah, no, this is the only match that really just got me really invested. And that's just solely down to the work of the 2 of them, especially Danielson, just because of the sort of just the hope that he's going to do it and all that sort of stuff, and I hope he can actually win, and stuff with the fact that the family being there and Swerve doing bringing Danielson out and doing those stomps on him right in front of his family. That was just such a low tactic. I loved it, and it was just completely utterly invested in the whole thing. Kickouts were great as well, close calls towards the end, and kicking out just about everything. Swerve just completely no selling the knee.
Yes,
was. At that point, I really thought, oh my God, he is retiring. This is them saying that Swerve, like, he hits his best move. He has defeated Hall of Famers with this move, and it doesn't, like, Swerve doesn't break a sweat. That was such an amazing, like,
the pacing of it though. Like, when it had been on maybe 10 minutes, I was like, Danielson has to win. because like just the timing, the flow of it, I was like, this is gonna end where everyone, if Swerve had won, picks up the bell, walks away, and then left Danielson in the ring to sort of give bows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That could have happened, but it couldn't have ended with like the tactics and everything that Swerve was doing throughout. I was like, and with Danielson blooded, it couldn't have won with any other ending other than that the last thing we're going to see in the ring is Danielson, whether it's that he's retired and just sort of like, I'm going home now, blah, 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 to his kids, or that he's going to be champion. But that was they did the right choice, because that moment in that venue with the confetti, that's going to be one of these moments that they're going to keep showing for years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I do think it's good. I don't know where I read this, but that Christian's going to be his first rivalry, and famously, Daniel Bryan is being a bad dad by staying in wrestling. So,
does Christian actually have any children? Actual
yes.
children?
Everyone. He's the fuck. Everyone in AEW is his children, as are we.
Yeah.
Don't you remember there was a promo he did backstage where he was interviewed with the group, and his daughter was part of it, and daughter said something.
Oh, I think I missed
it.
it.
Get the hell away from me! Get her. Security. Get her.
That's fine.
She wanted to hold the TNT title, and he's like, "No, you're not holding that."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This might ring a bell. No, but I thought overall. So overall, what I was going to say is, to me, they'd spent a year leaning towards the idea of Danielson and McGuinness as a match, and then obviously that. Oh my God, here comes Dev. Like last minute, I was literally about to wrap this up.
Last minute run.
Right.
Last minute run in.
This is Dev. Hello. This is perhaps a last minute run in, because we've been discussing. We've been discussing.
Are your lights on?
We have literally just got to the end of the Bryan Danielson Swerve match, but it's good to see you as always, Dev.
Yeah, I need to plug my shit and leave.
Yeah. Okay, so
good.
I was going to start to say, what was people's thoughts on the show overall? Dev, I will come to you. Like, let's not break every match bit by bit down. But what were your thoughts of All In, if you saw it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. My favorite was the Mariah versus Tony Storm match.
Really?
My least favorite was the DMD match.
Yeah.
And I have an insider rumor for you.
Go for it.
The reason that Jamie Hayter returned in the pre-show was because Sasha Banks didn't want her to be outshined, basically. She was meant to return during the Sasha Banks match to even the odds against Camille.
That'd make more sense.
That made more sense to me.
Yeah.
But okay, I guess. But we'll see where that
Sasha
goes.
said no. Yeah.
This is the thing. Like we were. This is where, like, Dave, earlier, like in our group chat, when you were like, every title changed hands except for the Elite and Sasha, and we're like, well, yeah, they're the ones that are gonna just like Tony probably is realizing now that Sasha's never losing the belt. She'll sit down cross-armed in the dressing room. She'll leave the company again. She'll
put her belt on the table and exit with Naomi.
Yeah. She'll get a
my friend was
ukulele
joking
out.
that the reason there is a secondary title is because Sasha's never losing hers.
No, like Jade had the secondary title right before her, so
right.
it's been around a while.
Mm.
But
right.
like, look, guys, what do you think's next for Daniel Bryan? I can never say it. Bryan Danielson.
Christian.
No, but like, okay, is he
Christian, call him a bad
retiring?
dad.
Is it how long is he going to keep wrestling? Okay, on Dynamite, is he going to come out and say, "Well, I guess I'm giving up the title," and someone's going to interrupt him?
I think
keep him
that
in
John Cena is going to come to AEW in his final year of wrestling.
Win his 17th World Championship.
Exactly. Take it off. Brian.
Although, I'm going to say a similar thing to that. I think that Cena and Bryan will have the similar final year. Or they'll have a few big final matches.
Oh my God.
In 2025.
Yeah.
And then retire together.
Oh my God. Each of them with a Bella is going to come full circle.
John's going to get back together.
imagine if they conspired. So like whatever Danielson does, last thing with the Bella, like she's gonna come over, hug, it's all over. Like Cena stands up like this, he looks nothing, and then suddenly, do you remember when Miss Elizabeth came back and like, when Sensational Sherry like turned on Randy Savage, and then Miss Elizabeth came out the crowd. I want that with with Bella coming out and just saving John Cena from I don't know who, but someone
Edge.
from Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, guys, let's begin to wrap things up. Unless there's any final thoughts or hot takes, I'll do a quick check-in. Obviously, we had breaking news. Dev, I don't know if you heard. Psycho Sid Vicious passed away.
Yeah.
Absolutely gutted to read that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'll see if there's any other breaking news. Usually, the traditional Slam Jam is as soon as we finish a show, something big happens. I think this may actually be the first time that something like that has come up during the course of the show. Just reading it here, apparently 63 years old. So, very, very sad to hear that.
I mean, for a wrestler, that's good. Like, that's a good length for a wrestler.
It's just too young, though. You know, far too young. I mean, like Sid has been out of when did he last? Has he hasn't basically wrestled since WCW when he broke his leg in a horrific way.
Full time now.
Literally every single post that I'm seeing just on Twitter is about Sid. So
I don't know if you can get it in the archives, but I don't know if anyone ever heard the Sean Mooney podcast. I saw Sean Mooney podcasts that he did a little while ago. It was a series of interviews, some old school WWF wrestlers. He did an interview with Sid. It was a really good listen. Sid explains all of his positions, why he left WWF first time around, because he was promised Hulk Hogan's position and never got it, and back and forth. It's just his reasonings for things. You can sort of understand, and he's quite a man of his this is what I was promised, and this is what I do. And there's even a point where he hears Sean Mooney chuckling at something, and he just goes, "Are you laughing at me, Sean Mooney?" And Sean was like, "No, I'm not laughing. I know the story you're going to tell me, and I know it's funny." It's like proper scary. He's like, "Oh my god, he's
yeah." This is the thing. Like, Sid was great. He was like the most intense bad guy. He was the most easily to dislike guy. But like I said earlier, he was probably the first heel that I really got into, where I was like, "Yes, Sid. You know, he can like destroy anyone, basically." But,
on that note, guys, I'm going to have to...
Yeah, guys, let's wrap this here. Dave, do you want to say where people can find you? Or are you...
Yeah.
Oh, wow, we're losing everyone. Oh, no, you're back.
Just find David Anthony Green on... David Anthony Green for acting stuff, although not much longer, because I may be changing my name for certain reasons. And I'll be... I'll... Degrino on Twitter. And just find me through that. That's fine.
Okay. Corey, where can the people find you?
Yeah. Well, folks, you know me. I'll be in Toronto there, bud. It's a great city. The Maharaja is doing a show down here, formerly known as Jinder Mahal. But yeah, I'll be doing more stuff. I have videos as well. If you follow me at Corey Birch, me and a friend of mine, we do wrestling theme songs in a car. We've done a bunch, and we've had the folks from Downstate introduce the videos for us. We also had Jimmy Corderas, and we've got one featuring a certain LA Knight. Yeah, coming out soon. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, so you'll follow at Corey Birch for that, and also all types of improv related stuff in Toronto.
Awesome. Dev.
You can find me on TikTok and Twitch under the name FUUDAT.
Okie dokie. TJ.
Hey, where can you find me? You can look up TJ Roy X on Instagram. I put up artwork, some wrestling artwork, mostly nerdy artwork. So yeah. Other than that, I don't know. Hopefully at a science conference soon.
Okay. My name is David Pistansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pistansky. Check out all things Slam Jam, usually at Slam Jam Wrestling or Slam Jam Show on the various platforms. And guys, it's been a while since there's been a Slam Jam. My full intention is Slam Jam to always be regular. But I'm doing a lot of things behind the scenes that I've been working on for literally months that are in a Slam Jam sphere that you're going to start to see almost imminently. So look out for that. So until next time, stay safe. Always stay extreme. Live long and prosper. That's the outro for Geek Battle. And ciao for now, you Slam Jam bronies. Bye. And we're off the air.